If there's one thing I've learned from Cade, it's the value of a grand entrance.
This is great. Anyone want a hug? Hugs? No? No hugs.
So hype right now in the Fanboy Frenzy headquarters, man. I can't tell you how hype we are. We are so hype that when the game was about ready to come out at midnight on September 6th, this is exactly what we were doing in our office at that time. Here is some actual footage from Fanboy Frenzy headquarters 10 minutes before the game came out at midnight. And go. Welcome everyone to another Fanboy Frenzy game review. This time, Destiny 2. I tell you what, this has been the game I've been the most hyped for, Fanboy Frenzy Army, for the entire year, was to ride the D yet again. Because there's nothing quite as exciting as riding the D, you know what I mean? You know, when you're playing the... Guys, come on, grow up for God's sake. I meant the... Anyway, Destiny 2, how is it? Well, in short, it's great. It's absolutely great. You know, in full disclosure, Fanboy Frenzy's been kind of hard on Destiny. As a matter of fact, back in December 2014, we had our second ever video for Fanboy Frenzy. And it was me dissing Destiny. Because I felt like it really was living underneath expectations and extremely overrated. But you know what? Bungie did the great thing. They listened to the fans. And the Destiny, the OG gamers, some of you may be OG when it comes to Destiny, the original. The franchise, you may have been back in the beta, old school on the battlefield of Destiny. Just like me, just like many of the Fanboy Frenzy Army. But you probably, quite honestly, fell off the series. Why? Because Destiny has some serious issues. Whether it was the engram issues, you know, you bring somebody a legendary engram like Rahul, the Cryptarch. Next thing you know, he gives you a pair of green or blue Rust Burner 5-point C3 boots, which are shit. And you know where that goes at that point. You know, you kind of get a little cray-cray at that point. But you know what? Destiny listened to the fans. And finally, we have a Destiny experience that's everything that you knew Bungie was capable of doing. So we're going to start off a little bit with the story of Destiny. First of all, we know the original story of Destiny was almost not there. It was like Borderlands 1 territory. It was only a few cutscenes, nothing really fleshed out. You had to read the grimoire. Who likes to read? I mean, seriously, have you seen the loots, the riots going on in Florida? People don't steal books, man. They steal TVs, but that's for another story. Ultimately, though, Destiny 2's story is very good. It's all about the Red Legion and their main boss, Darth Bane. I think they call him Gaul, but just look at him. He's Darth Vader with his helmet off, and he's got the Bane mask, and oh yes, it's, well, he's Darth Bane. It just is what it is. But Destiny's story is very good, and it really gets you engaged in the storyline. Really, Destiny 2, the story is all about mortality and redemption. You know, you see a lot of your favorite characters in the Destiny franchise, like Zavala, or Ikora, or even our lovable goofball Cade. But all of them are wrestling with one thing, and that's mortality. Because after the Red Legion begins to take down the Traveler and suck his light for their own purposes, what happens to all your Guardians? What happens to all your progress from the original games that was supposed to carry over a 10-year lifespan, Bungie? Sorry. I'm really not upset with the game. I'm just a little frustrated. But nonetheless, it makes sense as to why none of our progress from the last game was ever to carry over. Because it's all destroyed. You start off with nothing in Destiny, and you have to build your way up. And when I say you start off with nothing, I mean you start off with a gun that's rusted out, no bullets, you got nothing. So you really start from the bottom. Now you're here. Now all of a sudden, your character has to deal with issues such as, like I said, mortality. That makes this game so much deeper and more relatable, and actually it makes you more engaged in the overall storyline. So Destiny, to me, this time around, is an extremely exciting experience. But story's only one thing. Ultimately, it comes down to the gameplay. So has the gameplay changed very much over the last Destiny? Well, no. If you're a fan of Destiny and you love the shooting mechanics and all the different options for guns and armor, it's all there this time around. Nothing's really changed in that part. The only thing that's changed is perhaps some new weapon types. Like we have grenade launchers now that shoot. Sometimes you get one that shoots one at a time. Sometimes you get one that you have to shoot, then reload. Sometimes you get them like it's out of a Schwarzenegger movie and you could just thump, 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 thump. Like, that's a great thing. Or maybe you took advantage of the pre-order bonus and got the new Icebreaker rifle that you can use, the exotic sniper rifle. It's pretty awesome. Kind of looks like they ripped off Ghostbusters, but other than that, it's pretty awesome. But the Destiny gameplay is amazing. It really feels great. And, they dealt with two different issues that was from the previous game that they finally kind of ironed out. And one of the reasons some people left the franchise was the lack of things to do in Destiny. Really, you had strikes. You know what? On a side note, Destiny 2 has all the same great stuff like strikes. The only problem is, just make sure you don't get into a strike with someone like this. And go. When you're playing with guys like that can't see something like that coming, it's better you just let them die. Let them think about that bad decision. Or, well, I guess I can just let Ivan Drago say it best. Go. You had a few patrol missions, which you did over and over again. And if you're lucky, you might actually run into a public event. Not this time. So this time around, you have story missions. You have all kinds of different milestones you have to hit. They brought back the patrol missions. They have missions called adventure missions. They have just a ton of stuff to do in Destiny. You will no longer just be running around with a fire team trying to find at least one thrall that you guys can all try to shoot and get the kill on because there's nothing else around. I promise you, from the minute you boot up the game and you end up in the European Dead Zone, you will be fighting guys pretty much constantly, and that gives 2 thumbs up from this guy right here. And I'm sure all of you too as well. Now, when it comes to some of the inner mechanics of the game, let's talk about some of the stuff that carried over from last game, like infusing weapons. That was something that showed up, I believe, during Rise of Iron. Maybe the Taken King, but I'm pretty sure Rise of Iron was the first one to do this. And what would happen is back in the day, say you had a sniper rifle that was 260 and you just loved this thing. Well, let's just say that you happen to get a rocket launcher that was 272. You could take that rocket launcher, break it down, and put its power into your sniper rifle, and boom, all of a sudden now you got a 272 sniper rifle. Well, they carried that over. Thank God above. Thank the Traveler they carried it over. The only difference is this time is there's a little tweak. Now you can only infuse weapons of the same class. So for example, I have an exotic submachine gun that I tend to use a lot because it has that electric effect, that lightning effect, kind of like the Zalo Supercell from last game. But, I tend to kind of lean more towards that. Well, when I got a couple of guns that were higher, I thought I could just take them and break them down. No. You got to be patient and wait for the same class. So the minute you get another submachine gun that is higher than the one that you currently have, then boom, then you can actually infuse it at that point. But you can't do it just any old style. You can't do it with any old weapon. That kind of sucks, but you know what? It slows the game down just a little bit for Bungie. But other than that, you'll never have a problem getting engrams because now you'll collect another mechanic that comes back is there's multiple currencies. If you go to the European Dead Zone, there's a currency there and all kinds of things that you can collect and then turn into basically the captain or the general over that area. I think his name is Devrin. If you go to, say, the Titan base, you go to the rig, then you can actually give your stuff to Sloane, or as I like to call the chick from Metroid, because that's kind of the way she looks. She looks like Samus. Come on. Seriously, she looks like Samus. Or you know, you can collect other things and maybe give it to Michelle Nadegiocello. Oh, that's not who that is? Oh, it's Akora. I'm sorry. Look, come on, seriously. Michelle Nadegiocello. Let's be honest here. But anyway, the point is, Destiny 2, is it worth picking up and playing, or should you pass? You should absolutely pick this game up and play it because it's well worth your time. Now, maybe sometime down the road, we've already beat the game here, and so we could go into maybe a spoiler story and maybe what we think's coming based off of that last cutscene, which we're not going to get into here. Like I said, maybe sometime later this week, we'll do a video which we kind of delve a little deeper into what could be coming with Destiny in the first expansion. But other than that, I just want you guys to know, Fanboy Frenzy Army, go out there and buy this game and jump on. And you can actually link up on our Facebook channel to our gamer tag, so if you want to jump in and join our clan, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Everybody, we appreciate all the support you give in Fanboy Frenzy. We're back. We're roaring 110 miles an hour to make sure we give you the best content you could possibly find. We are the one-stop shop for all political and pop culture connoisseurs. You connoisseur of information, this is the place you go. Now, with that being said, please make sure you take a couple minutes and subscribe to the channel. You know how to do it. Make sure you also click the bell so every time we upload a new video, boom, you get a response. You get a flag, a notification that, hey, there's something else really cool for you to watch and to take part in. Also, make sure you go to our website, www.fanboyfrenzy.com, and go to our Facebook page as well, facebook.com/fanboyfrenzy. And make sure you like that page as well and follow it. We're very interactive with our fans. We always want to take part in conversations you guys might bring up. But with that being said, we thank you so much for tuning in to this Fanboy Frenzy review short. I'm Ryan Jarvis, and until next time, Guardians, I'll see you on the battlefield.